Hey guys, this is Daniel with Perspective. So we got a very interesting situation happening with the DNC. Now, we're told that the DNC is supposed to be neutral in this arbitrator, and I think that, all things considered, they were doing a better job than last time. You really couldn't do any worse than they did in 2016. That being said, there's this very interesting discussion. Of course, we have Tom Perez, who is in charge of the DNC, who, former gas executive. And what do we have here? Well, we have the DNC saying that not only will there not be a debate on climate change, of course, one of the biggest, most important issues of our times, if not the biggest, probably the biggest, I'm sure you guys would agree. But instead, if any candidate who is going to be at DNC-sanctioned debates has the audacity, the nerve, the drive to debate about climate change on another stage, they will be barred entirely from all DNC debates going forward. Isn't that interesting? So what the DNC is effectively saying is, hey, if you really want to have a debate on climate change, you're blacklisted. Now, where else have I heard a Democratic body threatening to blacklist, the DCCC, on anyone who wants to challenge an incumbent? So what do we have? So this is being pushed forward by Washington Governor Jay Inslee, and he says he won't rule out participating in a primary debate on climate change, which, for all reasons said, Washington's getting flooded. It's an important thing many people are dying from. He will not budge, or he may budge. We're going to see, but he says he may not. But again, if he does decide to do this, which is why it's such an important issue, he simply won't be allowed into any more DNC events. Now, my personal question is, how high will this go? If, say, he decides that he's going to do that debate, if Bernie Sanders decides he's going to do that debate, if Elizabeth Warren decides that she's going to do that debate, and a few others, what would the DNC really be able to do about it at that point? Remember, big army diplomacy. The DNC can push forward a rule that says you will be stripped of all DNC debate. But that's going to be really hard to, maintain, show, prove, even to the mainstream media when you kick out all the Democratic. That's going to look really bad. So I would say that if he decides to do his own debate, Jay Inslee, he probably will be kicked out. He only has enough support to get into the first two debates. So I would expect that he will go into this, do those debates, and then maybe he doesn't qualify for the other debates. That would be a time where he can do it because he's not losing anything there. But as we'll see in this article, even Elizabeth Warren, and I would assume Bernie Sanders, would like a debate on this topic. So what do they have? He says that the DNC is trying to eliminate an opportunity to have a debate by effectively blacklisting candidates who want to have one. Again, sounds really Democratic to me. So what else do we got? We have it is the DNC's job to organize, to schedule. This is the DNC spokesperson talking. It is the DNC's job to organize the debate schedule, and the ground rules on unsanctioned debates were made clear with all the candidates, including Governor Inslee and media partners, months ago. I wonder what the media partners angle of that is. Anyway, so the other side of this is that you have a lot of groups, Friends of the Earth, Credo Action, Greenpeace, Sunrise Movement, 350.org, are planning to push pressure on the DNC to do something about this. In addition, over about a dozen candidates, including Bernie Sanders, Warren, and even Beto O'Rourke, which is ironic considering, I guess he'd want to talk about what the best way to do crude is, but that's another statement. But again, the DNC completely shut them down, saying that if you even have the audacity, if you motherfuckers, you candidates, and your candidacy and your primary of trying to win the voters, if you have the fucking audacity to even think about doing free things in a democracy and talking to people about an issue in a way that we don't approve, the Democratic National Committee, who controls is in charge of with the Democratic Party, will simply write you off. Seems interesting. Though I think in the long term this is not going to be that relevant, though it will be a miss because they're not going to talk about it because they don't want to offend oil or whatever. Anyway, so they're calling this a no single issue debates, even though climate change is about as big as you can ask. It covers energy production, it covers pollution, environment, it covers standard of living, it covers migration, single issue. It's affecting every state, and we did a story, Lainey did a story a while back on how if you look outside of the places that are hit by hurricanes, Illinois or Chicagoland is the most hard hit because we've had so many floods because of all the rain. Single issue topics that only affect a small sliver of the country. So Elizabeth Warren said it would be a mistake to not hold a climate change debate. I agree. I can tell I'd like to have one of these. They were completely ignored. I mean, tell me one time in the last cycle when we had any real discussion on climate change. We were shortchanged last time. It's happening again, but from stuff we've covered previously, Paul's talked about how we put $1.4 trillion in various subsidies to fossil fuels. We're still playing the game. It's still bigger army diplomacy, and currently the status quo on this topic is simply in front, and it's up to us to get to a point where this type of situation isn't happening. Anyway, so the DNC goes on to say that this is just a single issue topic and there's nothing to worry about. We're not going to talk about single issues. Now, I want to ask you guys this since we're getting to the end of the video. What do you think would happen if they did do a climate change debate? Who do you think would come out on top? Do you think Beto O'Rourke would do well? Do you think Biden would do well and all? Now, here's where I will give a consolation, because I, don't like the DNC, I don't like how it's organized, but I'm all about momentum, and I'm all about where pressure points are, how far have we gone, how strong have we gotten. And if I would say that I would be surprised, I'll even make a prediction that there won't be a climate change debate per se, but it's going to get brought up 10 times more, if just by the candidates alone, than all of 2016. I think that's the best I can offer. Who controls the DNC has been set up. There's not really a whole lot that anyone can do about it. However, someone like Sanders wins. It'll probably be in next time. What do you think? Anyway, guys, this is Daniel with Perspective. I'll leave you with one final question. Do you think 20 years looking back on this, us and our descendants, people that are still alive and that are older, do you think that they're going to look on this period and say, why didn't they do something about it? Or do you think that this is the time right now where we're in where something will get done? Peace, guys. Hey guys, do you like the video? If so, be sure to give us a sub and hit the bell for notification. You know how YouTube is. And if you have the time, check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages, and check us out at hardlensmedia.com. Be sure to check out our Patreon if you really support what we do and want to support us at independent media